It seems as though we're getting confused as a community. Keyboard players want to avoid controller players because of unfair advantages. To properly bust this myth, I think we're going to need to take a history lesson. I do advise you to watch the entire video before you make an opinion down in the comments or with the like rating. So with that being said, let's get into it. Back in the season 1 through 3 era, the only players, tryhard / professional players, were keyboard players. It wasn't until mid-season 4 that we had someone called YouTube, now known as FaZe Noisy, who came out and proved himself to be just as good as, if not better than, most PC players. His FaZe recruitment reveal video said that they thought that he was faking his clips. Then in season 5, there's a player, YouTube, now Ghost, Zarby. Those were the main two controller players that were on top. And while there were hundreds of PC players that got recognized, known as being tryhard, that were dominating the game, there was only these two controller players. It wasn't until season 6 that we started recognizing players like FaZe Sway, Shaw, Ghost X, and it wasn't until season 7 that those same players can prove themselves to be able to beat keyboard players. Backing up a little bit, the stigma on controller players was made by Ninja when he was making fun of the way that controller players built for some reason.
Look at these 90s coming out of your pro player digit here. Hey, look at that. Who says content players can't build?
But the issue on aim assist was brought upon by Myth when he himself went on a controller and showed how overpowered aim assist on a controller was.
What? Come on. Hey, listen. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. You console play, y'all on some fucking bullshit, brother. Y'all on some bullshit. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you.
So many people knocked. It's lagging.
On the bridge.
Now, I made this video very late. I wanted to make this actually before season 9 came out because I had clips ready from season 8. But here we are. My point in saying that is that things have changed, right? Aim assist back then wasn't as strong as it is now, and that's why I wanted you to wait until the end of the video to formulate your opinion. I hope you're still doing that. So I have to take this in steps because controller players have been criticized for several seasons, and each season brought upon different things to aim assist. That being said, by the time Myth made his controller video, and even Mongrel back in season 8/9 making his controller appeal, it just wasn't valid. Like, if you compared the clips of what keyboard players versus controller players, if you compared those clips in terms of what they're able to do, then it just wasn't a valid argument at all. PC still had all of the advantages. Now, when my favorite player, Jamside, who's a Russian Fortnite player, spoke English about some random kid who was lasering him, and this was back in season 9, I looked up the kid who he killed, and it turns out that he was a controller player, and he did fit into that L2. It was valid. I can understand why people got annoyed with L2 after looking at that clip. But I made a discovery. See, I have a PS4, which is a console. This kid had a controller on a PC. Now, who are all the people complaining about aim assist? PC players. Who are they getting matched against? Other PC players, and that made a lot of sense to me there. Before the big update with the advanced settings, right, when settings were all the same for everybody, If you were on PC controller, you had just a completely different spectrum of aim assist than console players. Because I was on console and I was failing to understand everybody's argument. I'm like, I have never in my life laid down this kind of L2 spam. I've never, like, we don't have these advantages, right? I still don't. I don't know what's wrong with my settings. I have never L2 spammed and had it work. Never. I've never seen any benefits to aim assist. I am very confident in saying that. So my mindset back then was, you're on a PC and it's overpowered anyway. So of course, if you're going to put a controller on a PC, you're going to get some sort of overpowered mechanism. But other controller players' rebuttals, you can say, is that you had a mouse and keyboard, which is what I still think people are forgetting. With a controller, right? Well, I have a better video explaining this. Alright, so check me out. I've been playing controller for almost 2 years, right? This does not have as much control as this. I've been playing PC for 2 days. This, right? This feels way better than this. And you have just way more control. So after looking at that clip, I'm just going to tell you this. When you have a controller, right? Your aim process, right? And all controller players will tell you this. Your aiming process, if you don't play claw, and if you don't have your hand like some weird ass contorted whatever, your aim process, right, is aiming, moving this thumbstick to where you think the player will end up, and then shooting once they get there, right? That is their aim process. That is why people say aim assist is, I don't even. With a mouse, right, aiming is completely on you. You have no aim assist, but yet you have all the control in the world over where your shots are going. If you miss a shot, that's on you. You have an entire surface to move around and click and shoot whenever your reticle or whenever your shoot icon is on the player. How do I know this? I played both PC and console controller. And that's one thing that I want to do. I want to clear up the term console, because a lot of PC players are using it like this console player, Mongrel especially. Oh, he's on console, he's on console. No, he's on PC, the overpowered platform. PC controller and console controller are two very different things, and that's the downside to playing on console. The computing speeds aren't as high. You can clearly tell the difference. Look at FaceWay's videos and Shaw's videos, and then compare that to their Season 6 videos, alright? You can literally see, like, frame per frame, the difference. It probably feels completely different. I haven't played PC controller, only PC keyboard, because I don't have a PC. My friend does. Actually, my friend who played on PC says that you don't miss, literally, because you can see you have 240 frames per second, not maybe even 120, right? It's just vastly different from console. And back to the history lesson, right? In every single game, it's not only Fortnite. In every single game, you have advantages if you use a keyboard and mouse over controller. I mean, on Call of Duty, you had good players, right? But you sure as hell didn't see anybody Nate Gibsoning. You did not see anybody pulling a Nate Gibson ADSing and looking just as fast as looking without ADSing. Like, that is ridiculously overpowered. But the thing about Call of Duty was, before cross-platform, was that PC players would only play PC players and console players would only play console players, right? But now that Modern Warfare has cross-platform, if they fix their maps and more people plays the game, I'm pretty sure we'll see the disproportionalities. That's a word. We'll see how disproportionate the skill level becomes. You can literally be on one end of Nuketown, ADS, and look to the other end of Nuketown within 0.5 seconds. Like, you can't do that on console. It's just a fact. Now, let's get on to the 200 plus damage plus low grounding. Recently, Tfue got destroyed utterly by somebody who who he thought was a controller player, and he just low ground him. Turned out it was actually a PC player.
No, bro. This guy just low grounds me, bro. Probably controller player. YouTube his name. You could check to see if he was on controller, but I feel like he definitely was. He was on Xbox. I wish there was mouse and keyboard cash cups, because I feel like if years of me training my aim and I just get on by a kid that doesn't even know how to aim, then yeah, I definitely get upset.
And then, you know, my friend, Sniper2203, if you watch the videos, you'll see him complain about aim assist. Just because somebody shoots you for 200 damage and or someone low grounds you does not mean that they're on controller. First off, you can't even move the way you could on a keyboard and mouse on controller. Like, so you have the entire movement system different. You know what I'm saying? It's I'll show you side by side. Say if I showed you gameplay without showing you the binds, you would be able to tell the difference between a PC player and a console player or controller player. Keyboard players hand out more 200 pumps to the head than console players, and that's maybe not in Fortnite Chapter 2. All right, I'll give you that one. All right, because I have had some kids, I've outskilled some kids. Finesse Kid Aiden completely outskilled them, hit him for 180, and they turn around clueless and just hit me for 200. I agree. But that being said, you guys had 10 seasons, 11 seasons where you handed out 200 pumps way more frequently than we do. Way farther away too. Don't.
Bro,
You just got fucking shit on. You got so shit on.
And the last thing I want to get into before we end the video is the fact that in Fortnite Chapter 2, aim assist on console has now become a little overpowered. Because you see, when you complain about something and you don't separate, you don't differentiate anybody, like the first time I've heard about console players like separated from PC controller and PC keyboard players was just recently about On Behalf of All Console Players, whatever the hell. You can look at Camping Rusher if you missed it. I mean, granted, I am making this video in November, but that was actually the first time I heard the word console being separated with controller, because controller means console and PC controller. But you see, when you complain about controller in general being overpowered, and on console it wasn't overpowered, right? You mess it up for everybody else, because now we have console players that have overpowered aim assist. I still don't know what the fuck is going on with my aim assist. My shit's not overpowered at all. But it's just, you know, it needed to be nerfed on PC controller, because we couldn't do anything. And now we got to deal with the same thing you keyboard players are going through. Well, it used to be in Season 3 when we had mixed lobbies that if you saw somebody double pumping at the speed of light, you knew that they were on keyboard.
But in order to compensate for that, you just go.
I even got mixed lobbies in Season 7, and if somebody lasered me before I could place a build, I knew that they were on keyboard. It just wasn't, it was not in the question, you know?
Damn! That guy's a PC player.
And I looked at the kid's Fortnite tracker, and he was on PC. It's just that mind-boggling. But I will admit, in this day and age, as in Fortnite Chapter 2. Aim assist is a little broken at this point. I will admit that. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you can tell when someone has skill and then someone doesn't have skill. Just get mad at when someone doesn't have skill, like Finesse Kid Aiden, and they sit and 200 pump you after you outskill them. That's when you get upset, right? But if you're missing your shots when you still have a keyboard and mouse and then someone shoots you, do not get upset, because that's not valid. You have an entire keyboard and mouse in front of you. One last thing is the phase sway versus stretched was hilarious.
Alright, that's some controller shit that you're able to do that's unfair. You can literally run to the side.
I mean, come on, stretched. What's next? He's gonna pull out a pickaxe and that's gonna be overpowered?
It's a controller movement. Like, when he's able to ramp up like this and then you like wall him off, he's able to just run in like running straight like that or do some shit like that. I forgot how he does it. Unreal broken.
Oh, on controller, you can think on controller, you know what I'm saying? That's overpowered. He literally said you can move to the left and showed him what he did on keyboard and saying that you couldn't do it on keyboard. But anyways, that's gonna wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that it was insightful for those of you who didn't enjoy it. And I will catch you guys in a later video. Peace out.